Welcome to the Business Challenges podcast, brought to you by the West Country Business Show, where we empower businesses within the Southwest. Welcome to the Challenges podcast, hosted by the West Country Business Show. Today on the sofa we have Brock from Your Partnerships.
How you doing today?
I'm good. Yourself?
Not bad, but it's not my birthday like it is yours, so happy birthday.
No, thank you.
Happy birthday to you.
You're working all day on your birthday.
Well,
it's one of those things.
It means you get to do something you like on your birthday. You like working, so there you go.
That's it. Well, hardly working, as you might think.
No comment.
So we're here today to talk about everything sort of networking, network-based. So tell people, and everybody knows who you are, but for anybody that might not know,
A lot of people don't know who I am, but yeah. So I have the honor of being, I suppose, leader. I normally say idiot driving the van, but whichever the person with Your Partnerships, which we're in Corcoran Media Studio, and Shane Solomon was a big part of that, and you guys are a massive part of it. But really, the network itself is what you're talking about. And the network it's a little bit different than other networks because it's more about a community.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we're building. So, if you want to know more about Your Partnerships and you don't know, just go on to the website, blah, blah, blah. But we're here to talk about this because I'm so privileged to be, that you guys have asked me to be able to help and vice versa, which is what the network is about and is what you guys are about as well, is helping businesses. I will say this part.
I can't imagine what's about to come out of your mouth.
You know it's going to come out of my mouth because I'm quite honored about this because I beat you up for how long? 2 or 3 years.
You did.
Yes. You're doing these wonderful shows up in London and other places. And like, you're down in Cornwall. Why the double, HE double L's are you not doing something down here? So I'm very proud that we've got your talents doing what it's going to be doing in West Point.
I couldn't resist for too long.
No. I kept bugging it out of you.
Definitely. And bringing our skills and expertise down from London, I think it's going to massively benefit the Southwest.
Absolutely.
With the challenges that the Southwest face, because quite a lot of the time it gets put to one side because everything goes on. Business Hub being in London, and everything like that. There's not really. Well, there isn't a show down here apart from what we're about to create.
We get it. We get a network all the time. It's because we're up in Kent and Reading, all stuff. But the amount of time business goes, it's nice what you guys do down in the Southwest or down in Cornwall or whatever. Like, because it's like, come on, we're not just in our little pigeonhole.
Yeah, no, we're not our own country. We haven't been cut off. We're floating away.
Tried a couple of times, but
more than a couple of times, definitely. So. A couple of questions I want to ask you and everything around the sort of network, and so people can get sort of an understanding about what you do, but mainly sticking towards business and the running of that day to day. So how do you decide whether to sort of innovate or stick with proven methods in a rapidly changing market? There's people that pop up all the time that are doing networking and everything. There's networking all over the place. Different, you got the BNIs of the world and stuff like that.
BNIs, bidders, foreign, so forth and so on. No, if anything, it's just the opposite. I wish there was more network, which may sound a bit crazy, because the biggest problem isn't that there's lots of networks. The biggest problem is only a little over 10% of UK businesses actually actively network and understand what networking can do for your business. You've been doing it for a while now. So can you imagine running your business without networking?
No.
But it's getting that across and making sure people understand. So, but the question was, how do I do?
How do you sort of the proven methods that you use that typically a lot of sort of people rely on to run that sort of network?
Well, what I'm really blessed with is 2 things. Got some great advisors around me because my brain is I just go do a million. Typical entrepreneur. I'll wake up and in the shower I have 5 new business ideas that day. I mean, and that's every day, 7 days a week. So luckily I've got people to bounce that against. But the other thing is, it's going back to the same thing I said, is the community will give us feedback about what works, what doesn't work. And we change all the time. I mean, that's one of the things. I'm not trying to big up YP versus other networks, but there are some networks that are so set up and so, they're run by large boards and they can only do so many things. They can't really pivot very fast. But we can We can change something this afternoon if you want, not a problem.
I think, talking about the community, and
Yeah.
that's a big thing, for us. We've always tried to, running events and everything, we're always striving to create that community.
Yes.
And, networking itself, the difference is, you can go and you can make 10, 15 phone calls and effectively cold calling these businesses to introduce yourself. Or if you go across to networking events such as YP,
Yep.
you can go there, meet up, speak to people, have a coffee in a relaxed environment. There's no pressure. You can just chat to people about
Yep.
their businesses.
Absolutely.
Yeah, ultimately you want to meet new businesses to know what they do and how you potentially could help them, or they could potentially vice versa. And it's building that sort of personal relationship
Yes.
with that personal company.
Yeah, and it's you're networking through the room instead of the to the room, which is one of the old saying. And it is a BNI saying, but it is true. Know, like, trust. Simple as this. You got to go long enough so people like you, and then eventually they'll trust you, then they'll use you.
Yeah.
And these things, I don't hide the point that I'm not a big expo lover, only because, and I don't mean that I don't think expos are great and expos bring in a lot of business, because they do. It's just not my wheelhouse, because what you guys do, to me, I compare to like being in Vegas. You're going to spend so much money out to hopefully get it back. It's too much. It's past my comfort zone, is the best way to put it. But what are expos? A massive networking events.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, definitely. And it's, I hate the term one-stop shop, but as a visitor, you can come down in one day and see all different companies from different walks of life.
What I love, there are a lot of times people say, I don't have time for that. I'm going to be in the office today, or I'm going to make 5 cold calls and everything.
Yeah.
If they don't come networking, they could be in a room with 30, 40, 50 people, and we've put them all in one room. Well, you guys, you're putting 300 plus businesses in one room, and then 3,000 plus people in one room. I mean, what could be more important than that? So why the heck would you not be at the show? It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway.
On the other side of the coin as well, have you ever turned away sort of business because they didn't align with your sort of company values?
Yeah,
or the network.
So values? we've been going 7 years pretty much now, by the time this goes out anyway. And we've had to 4 times exit people from the network. And for us, that's because they didn't align, like you pretty much said, with the values. Because in the network itself, it has to be all about collaboration and then helping each other. We've had 4 cases so far of improper trading, or let's just say it like it is, just trying to stab other people in the back. So just didn't fit. Simple as that. Go do it somewhere else.
Exactly. Now, Brock, have you ever had to pivot your business model entirely, completely from scratch? And, sort of what led to that decision, if you've had to?
Pivot entirely, no. But probably the biggest change was when we decided to go with a 30-day free trial versus just people joining up. It's quite interesting. There's 2 things that's quite interesting about that. Is the 30-day free trial, we found that works really well, and we get a lot of people that try it before you buy it, and that type of stuff. But the other thing is, we have a lot of BDMs from large companies that aren't allowed to join networks, but because we always have guest tickets, they'll just come. Kind of drives me personally crazy, because with the guest ticket is one event attending one event, same price as half a month. So by the time you go to 2, you might as well have had a membership. Yeah. We have some BDMs that'll come 4, 5, 6, 8 events a month.
Question: why would BDMs from certain companies not be allowed to join?
It's their company rules. I can understand it, because if you've got, say you've got 10, 15, 20 salespeople on the road, if they all join different networks, and we all know certain salespeople don't stay, it's one of those positions in life where, people stay a year, and some people might do 30 years. But imagine being that owner, and you've got 12 different memberships out there, and that one leaves, and the next guy or gal doesn't even like networking or can't network because of childcare or whatever. Yeah. So that's why.
Okay, it makes sense now. I just wondered why that might be.
Well, they're actually spending more money with us than less, so it's kind of a.
Don't mind that.
But we're one of the few networks that allow that, because most networks you go to 1 or 2 events, you're either in or out. But no one ever even has to become a member of YP. You could just go and guest tickets forever. So, but anyway.
Well, it's a different app.
But this is about you, not me.
No. This is more about you, to be honest with you.
I'm leaving.
It's all about you. Now, how do you think you I mean, this goes back onto sort of your network. You asked the network sort of, how you could improve, but I mean, I suppose this answers the question to a certain extent, but how do you identify sort of blind spots that may sort of hurt the business, the network in itself?
Okay, so what we may have done to hurt it in the past, or how we forget those feedback. Well, I mean, I suppose that we've done lots of things over the years that some weren't better than others, so to speak. I guess maybe one way of this is we at first we were trying, like a good example I'd use is we did like a cocktail making event in Exeter. It went great,
Yeah.
And then we thought, oh, we'll try the same thing down in Cornwall, for example. Well, it's very simple because we don't have the infrastructure for transportation. It didn't work as well. But I mean, I don't know if that answers that well, but it's just, I guess it's learning for us, our business, that certain things work in certain areas. And that is another thing, is all of our events are run by ambassadors who can run it however they choose, because it's not cookie cutter. So therefore, it allows that ambassador to be their true, authentic self. It can confuse some new networking members, because they'll go to one and they'll go to the next one. Well, that's totally different than that one. But they finally decide which ones they like better than the others. This type thing.
I think I personally, myself, with the network, I like the variety of different types of networking. You've got the connector events, you've got the C-suites, of the world. And then, one thing you guys have asked me to do recently, which I really enjoyed when I actually did it, was the networking, because it's a different aspect of it. It should be, we're going to be doing one in Plymouth very soon. But I think it's just a different.
We've got a good ambassador for that one in Plymouth. What was his name? I can't remember. Anyway,
definitely. And it's just a different way of sort of networking. And again, in a relaxed environment, which I think that realistically, when you put it in a relaxed environment, rather than just go into an office and having a sit-down meeting, that's always quite serious.
Yes.
Whereas I think that more business is the age-old saying. More business is done over a pint.
Yeah. Or around the golf, or whatever you choose.
Whatever it might be. So, relaxed environments generally sort of relax people. They get them talking about different things.
Absolutely.
Do you believe in full transparency around financial performance, or does it create unnecessary pressure for you?
Well, I mean, it's everything in business should be, forecasted and understood. I can't believe I'm saying those words because I'm so bad at it. Luckily, once again, I have a good, strong team that that will do that. Because my problem, and I know you guys have been just as guilty about giving too much away for free at times. But is it giving stuff away for free? It depends on what it is. If it's done strategically and it's part of your marketing plan, that's different than just willy-nilly giving away for free.
Yeah.
And I have been guilty of that at some points to the extreme. But you need to, and I have learned this the hard way. You need to be evaluate, what you're doing. It's not rocket science. Keep doing what works and stop doing what doesn't work. I mean,
exactly, 100%.
I say that like it's easy.
It's definitely not. And just to end everything, just for the listeners, what's your best business advice or your tip?
I got a few, okay? One is just networking, is make sure that you prepare before you go. And what I mean by that is, because what a lot of people do when they're going networking, they'll pick an event. Oh yeah, I can make that one. That's cool. I'll go. And they just get in the car, drive there, and get there, and they sit there and listen to everybody, and then leave and go back and go, oh, think about, look, well, I just spent 3 hours of my life, but I didn't really get anything out of it. Well, the reason you didn't get anything out of it is you didn't prepare. So you weren't there, you didn't show up, you weren't attentive, you weren't taking notes. Take notes during the networking events. Make sure that a little harder on net walking, by the way. Well, you can record notes, you can do whatever. But also follow up. I mean, that's the main thing, is setting up those one-to-ones and doing some follow-ups, keeping those conversations going, helping other people first, because as soon as you help, then you'll get help back. People are always going to remember you if you've helped them with something. So that's a couple of tips around networking itself. Oh, I guess another tip, which probably drives some people listening to this crazy, quite confused, is I say go to other networks as well. Because you might be a member of YP, might be a member of BNI, might be a member of whatever, but every now and then you should pop into another network, because you'll meet different people and get different things from them. So I highly recommend that. Most networkers will have basically a home group, but a good networker will visit others every now and then as well. So that'd be a piece of advice. The other piece of advice I have is book a stand at the West Country Business Show. And or if nothing else, if you're not big enough for that as a company, get a ticket
just for the listeners. I didn't pay you to say that.
No, you didn't pay me to say that, but I'm just saying it's a tip. And I got the last tip is, what you should do is find, if you can only find a good studio, right? So where you can get some videos made, and like Corker Media. Ever heard of Corker Media before?
No, not at all.
Well, Corker Media, they're quite good. Friends of mine. I'll introduce you.
Yeah, brilliant.
And just so happens, your partnerships actually rents out the studio twice a month.
Okay.
So if people listeners get a hold of me, I'll get them on the set, just like you've done me. So the last tip is, make sure you thank the person that's gotten you on set. So thank you for getting me on set today.
No, that's quite all right. That's all right. Well, thank you very much, Brock, for coming along.
Thank you.
To the Challengers podcast. Sponsored by the West Country Business Show.
Absolutely.
And
I'm going to be there. You going to be there?
Oh, well, I think I might be.
Cool.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, buddy.
No problem. Thank
We'll
you.
see you again soon.
Take care.
Thank you.